also have big news.
Oh my god.
You
have a boyfriend?
He's saying that this is the end of her career. The comments ranged from "I'm unsubscribing" to "you betrayed your fans" to even worse.
Pokimane is experiencing 40% less viewership and donations hard after launching her relationship.
Now, Pokimane is one of those streamers who somehow always stays trending, and this time is no different. She dropped a 1-minute TikTok answering questions about her and her neighbor, and the internet locked in instantly. You might be thinking, why does this even matter? Well, before this new TikTok, she had already posted another video talking about that same neighbor and how they work out together. That is when people started raising eyebrows. The timing, the vibe, the body language. It all had fans talking heavy. A lot of people, including me, started thinking this neighbor might not just be some random guy next door. Word on the street? That could actually be her low-key boyfriend. At first, it was just rumors flying around online, nothing solid. But then she posts another video with the same neighbor. That is when it stopped feeling random.
For drop, I have to introduce you to a recurring character in my life. This is Chris, also known as Sunkiss, also known as my neighbor. We met at one of those everybody in the building gets together kind of parties. And then there were board games for people in the building, so we got to know each other at board game night. Chris cooks a lot, gyms a lot, and he sings. Chris, sing.
Let's be real, what are the chances? She keeps casually filming with this one neighbor over and over again. It started to look less like coincidence and more like a soft reveal. I even said before she might be using the word neighbor to test the waters, like a soft launch to see how people react before going fully public. And let's just say, the reaction was not smooth at all. Reports started floating around that her views and donations dipped big time after she confirmed the relationship. If that is true, it could explain why she kept sticking to that neighbor label. But come on, anyone with working eyes can see they look way closer than that.
And he sings a lot of songs in China/in Chinese.
Yup.
Wait, I've never heard you sing in Chinese.
Really?
Yeah.
我们今生注定是沧桑。
The energy between them does not scream just neighbors. It feels deeper. When a girl laughs like that, that is not random. That is not polite. That is not casual. That is interest, loud and clear. At this point, they are not even subtle anymore. The chemistry is right there on camera, and it is kind of wild how obvious it looks. Yet she keeps calling him her neighbor, even after saying he is a recurring character in her life. A recurring character? That does not sound like some random guy who borrowed sugar once. That sounds like someone important, someone who is staying around. That is why people are not buying the whole neighbor storyline. It feels like she is downplaying something that looks way more serious.
also have big news.
Oh my god.
You
have a boyfriend?
We don't do boyfriends.
Oh, sorry.
2026.
sorry.
Yeah. It's either like ring husband or it's like, I don't know, maybe we're talking. And maybe sometimes I don't want to talk. Anyways.
And if Christian really is her boyfriend, you have to feel for him a little. You would think she would proudly claim him instead of keeping him under some coded title. No guy wants to feel hidden, sure. Protecting her brand and income makes sense from a business angle. That part is understandable. But on a personal level, that has to sting at least a little bit. Just look at the way she looks at him. That is not a casual glance. That is the kind of look that says everything without saying a word. I swear none of my neighbors have ever looked at me like that. Not even once. That is not, hey, good morning energy. That is personal. And the only people still acting like this is just some friendly neighbor situation are the hardcore tier 3 Pokimane subs who refuse to see what is right in front of them. They are writing for the storyline no matter what. And it is not like this was the only TikTok either. There are multiple clips, multiple moments. At some point, you have to connect the dots. The only time I see people doing that specific cute TikTok trend together is when they are dating. It is giving full boyfriend-girlfriend vibes. Two random neighbors do not wake up and say, yo, let's film a couple trend for fun. That just does not happen. Now this also makes you think about something else. Remember a few weeks back when Pokimane allegedly bought herself a ring? That detail hits different now. When that whole ring situation went down, the internet was clowning her hard. A lot of people thought it was deserved. But what if the story is not that simple?
Bought an engagement ring for myself. Okay, but you guys told me to. In the comments my last video, you guys kept talking about a ring. A lot of you were saying, girl, just go get one for yourself. So that's what I did. A ring at Bulgari that I just fell in love with. It felt like way too much to get for myself, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, I hope someday I actually get engaged. The person that you are engaged to the most in your entire lifetime is your damn self.
What if there is more happening behind the scenes? What if Chris was actually the one who bought her that ring, and the relationship is way deeper than people think? Because, let's be honest, buying yourself a ring like that and making it a moment feels random. Most people are not casually gifting themselves symbolic jewelry for no reason. If she said she bought it herself to avoid fans getting upset, that changes everything. Suddenly, it is not weird. It is strategic. If that was a cover to protect her brand and keep backlash low, that is actually a smart move. Instead of waiting for drama to explode, she flips the narrative before it even starts.
So why shouldn't I get this ring for my damn self? So, this is me proposing to myself. Will I be with me for the rest of my life? Well, yes, I've no choice, but yes.
Closely to what she said on that podcast, it connects in a different way. She literally said, "We don't do boyfriends in 2026. We only do ring husbands." That is a bold statement. That is not something you say casually. That sounds like someone who is thinking long-term, not just playing around. If one person says something like that, it can sound arrogant or unrealistic. But what if she is not single at all? What if something serious is already locked in behind the scenes? Suddenly that line does not feel random anymore. It starts to feel like a quiet flex. Let's be real. Nobody casually says, "We don't do boyfriends at 30," unless they are thinking long-term. That is not talk for someone just passing time. That sounds like someone who is either already leveled up or is about to make a big move. When she says it, the tone feels intentional. It does not come off playful.
Now, streamers are facing the same parasocial expectations. And let's be real here, this disproportionately affects women. Male streamers date publicly all the time without the same backlash. And the question that everyone's asking now is, should female content creators have to hide their personal lives to maintain their careers?
It sounds calculated, almost like she is speaking from experience instead of hope. And that is why people are reading into it so hard. Because if you are truly single and just vibing, you do not usually speak in absolutes like that. You keep it light, you keep it open. That statement sounded locked in. Now the big question is, why go through all this effort to keep it quiet? If everything is solid and happy, why not just say it with your chest? The answer might be simple. The internet is ruthless. Look at what happened the last time rumors popped up. Headlines dragged her name over pure speculation. Comment sections went wild. And that was without any official confirmation. Just whispers created chaos.
I'm laughing because I posted that, and I don't know. You know how Twitter is. I actually don't see how Twitter is because I don't really like to be on Twitter. But I see how my fans are like, why are people on Twitter being weird? And then people on Twitter were like, imagine having to hide your partner because your community's gonna freak out. And then my whole community is like, oh my God, cute video. You know, I'm like, it just feels like entirely different worlds.
We on Twitter's just very bad. But
So imagine if it was not just she has a boyfriend, but she has a husband. The reaction would be explosive. From a business standpoint, that is a serious risk. When your brand was built on being relatable and accessible, changing that image overnight can shake the numbers. At the same time, let's talk about the personal side. If he really is her man and she is calling him just my neighbor in front of millions of people, that probably hits a little. Keeping love private is one thing. A lot of people respect that. But feeling like you are being downplayed publicly, that is different. No one wants to feel like a side character in their own relationship. And here is where it gets deeper. Over the years, she built a fan base that feels extremely invested in her life. Not just her streams, not just her content, her personal story. People have followed her for years. They feel connected, some of them feel protective, some feel entitled. That kind of dynamic does not appear overnight. It grows slowly with every interaction.
even if she had a public relationship, and speaking from experience, you
Who
still
has
get
a
shit
pub-
on. If
Yeah.
you hide it because you want to keep your private life private, you still get shit on. No matter what you do,
You gonna get shit
you gonna get
on.
shit on, bro.
Okay, two-part. One, I've always been like a more private person, but more so in the sense where it's like, people just don't need to hear every detail ever. One. Two, if you come from a North African or Middle Eastern family, you know every single one of your aunties is looking at everything like this. So like I would never publicize a thing anyways, because in our culture,
So now when there are hints of a serious relationship, certain fans react emotionally instead of logically. Venom even pointed out that she allegedly lost a noticeable chunk of her sim audience when the boyfriend rumors first started. That conversation blew up. Then when she leans back into the "I'm single" narrative, critics say she is trying to win that crowd back. That is the claim floating around. Whether that is fully accurate or not, you can see why people connect those dots. The timing makes people suspicious. The wording makes people question everything. And then there is the body language. Because words are one thing, but energy does not lie. The eye contact, the way she laughs at his jokes, the comfort level. That does not look cold or distant. It does not look forced. It looks natural, familiar. There is a spark there, and viewers are catching it instantly. That is why the neighbor label feels like a shield more than a description. When rumors pop up and she repeats, "He's just my neighbor," it feels like doubling down instead of clearing it up. She does not give a hard yes. She does not give a hard no. She stays in that gray area, and the internet hates gray areas. People want clarity, they want labels, they want answers. Of course, some tweets go way too far with wild theories, and that is where it crosses the line. At the end of the day, none of us truly know what is happening behind closed doors. We are reacting to clips, to vibes, to carefully chosen words. That is it. Maybe it is all strategy, maybe it is pure privacy, maybe it is both working together. But one thing is undeniable. The internet is watching every move, every glance, every laugh, every sentence. The more she sticks to that neighbor storyline, the more people analyze it frame by frame. And whether this is a smart brand move or a complicated personal situation, the speculation is not slowing down anytime soon. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. Drop your comments down below and let me know what you really think is going on. I will see you on the next one.